Do your own sign. Welcome.
All right, we're going to start with our opening remarks, and we're going to start with Mr. Getz.
Wow, I am so excited to be here. Thank you for this tremendous opportunity. Thanks to KPC Media Group, in particular Garrett Clipper and Sue Carpenter, for organizing this debate. Thanks also to John and the Cruz Plaza and their staff for hosting this event. 3 weeks ago, Garrett Kaiser Butler Schools offered to host the debate, but the mayor at that point didn't have time in his schedule, which is unfortunate because we missed a tremendous opportunity for a learning opportunity for the students in our community. I'm happy this event worked out in your schedule, because debates are extremely important for the voters to become informed before they go to the polls. My campaign slogan has been "Expect a Greater Garrett." Striving to achieve greatness is an elusive pursuit. Many say they want to achieve greatness, but few get there. You can't just put it in a little work here and a little work there. Achieving greatness must be full-time. Do I have to start over? You can't just put in a little work here, a little work there. Achieving greatness is a full-time job and always involves going the extra mile. But good is often the enemy of great. But why just be good when you can be great? First, we must believe that achieving greatness is possible for Garrett. This calls for a visionary leader who's innovative, forward-thinking, proactive, and has big dreams for the future of Garrett. As a leader, I understand that in a world that is rapidly changing, those who aren't forward-thinking and don't take proactive action risk stagnation or failure. Right now, I don't see any innovative outside-the-box projects going on at Garrett. We seem to be in a very reactive mode. We see a problem, we try to go fix it. We see another problem, try to fix that. We tend to also say we can't do things before we even try for various reasons. It's too big of a project, it's too expensive, there's not enough time, not enough resources, on and on. Can't never did anything until it tried. Right now, there are many people in this community, in Garrett, untapped human resources and assets who are envisioning a greater Garrett but have no avenue in which to channel those dreams and energies. Yes, it will take a lot of hard work and effort, but I believe the citizens of Garrett are up to that challenge, and they deserve a leader who will give them that 100% effort and striving for greatness with them. I will give that 100% effort. Why be good when you can be great?
Mr. Fayette.
Good evening, and thank you for coming here tonight. My name is Todd Fayette. I'm a Democrat. I'm also the current mayor of Garrett, Indiana. We are the second largest city in DeKalb County with a population of around 6,400. I've been mayor for one term and currently seeking another. I have been married to my wife, Victoria, for 37 years. I have 3 young men in our family, Zach, our twins, Quentin and Spencer, and all 3 GH grads, and 2 have graduated from IU and 1 from UNO in Ohio. Quentin is currently serving the United States Air Force. And I also have been a barber for 43 years in the same place this November 2nd. When I took office, our streets were in disrepair, our grocery store is about to shutter its doors, our city departments were using antiquated equipment, except for our police and our fire. We did not have a city hall because it was being refurbished. We were in the basement of the Garrett State Bank. Since January of 2016, we have purchased new trucks, squad cars, fire equipment, street sweeper, backhoes, and more. We have installed Auburn Essential Services for commercial use, downtown improvements such as street lights, benches, trash cans, flower planters, drinking fountains. The state paved the state highway through our town just recently, so now we have a nice looking street through downtown. They striped and installed ADA corners, so thank you to NDOT for that. We've had a few use our downtown matching facade grants that will match up to $10,000. We've had around 20 new mom and pop sized businesses open up in the last 4 years, plus some large additions to some factories in our city. We replaced the water main lines before the paving began downtown, and we are now going through process of running water and sewer to our new home additions, mainly to the south. We are growing. Our downtown looks more eye-appealing than it has been for a while. Our parks have been used very heavy this summer with ball games, tournaments, pavilion rentals, dive-ins, movies, teen swims, and the pool, and the weather permitting this summer or this winter, ice skating. We've upgraded our city and stayed in budget. We are preparing for the future growth from Allen County and our surrounding area for those who are looking for a place of residence, a change of residence. I believe you can own your own home, send your children to a quality school here in Garrett, Indiana, and if you haven't been to Garrett in a while, I encourage you to do so. Then you'll see why it's a place to call home.
All right, thank you very much. We'll start our questioning with you, Mr. Fayant.
What, in your view, is the number one issue facing Garrett, and what would you do if you had a second term as mayor to address that issue?
Number one issue, I suppose, if you looked at what's been in the paper lately, would be the drug problem. And I can't say that that's just in Garrett. That is all throughout the country, mainly here in Northeast Indiana. We formed a drug task force, and recently I saw the numbers where we have arrested 127 people so far this year, so we're trying to make a dent in that. And as far as that's got to be a top priority. We can't let our kids go on like this.
All right, thank you. Mr. Getz?
Undoubtedly, the number one issue facing the families in Garrett is the meth issue. It's affecting so many families and really making an impact on the kids. The police are doing a great job in Garrett, but as a mayor in Garrett, I would be more proactive in getting ahead of the problem. Here again, we're being reactive. The police are doing a great job after the people are already out in the streets doing their thing. Why not get ahead of the problem? Let's get out of our silo, get all the help that we can get, and partner with people who are professionals. Let's get ahead of it. Why are these people making poor decisions? Why are these people choosing to destroy their lives and their families' lives? Let's get ahead and try to help them before the problem starts, rather than react and throw them into jail after.
We have plenty of things, I think, going on. We have, what would you call it, counseling. Plus, we also have all the ads that tell you do not do drugs and stuff. So I think our police department's doing fine, and they just need to pay attention to what's on the news. Stay away from that stuff.
All right, our next question, we'll start with Mr. Getz.
Okay, although the position of mayor is considered part-time, you both mentioned your intentions to make it a full-time endeavor. Do you think it should be changed to full-time under city code with a higher salary, or should you be paid more for the additional hours if it is only a part-time position?
I definitely believe that the mayor position in Garrett should be a full-time position. Regardless of what the pay is, it'll be a full-time position for me. But for Garrett to gain legitimacy as a town, how can you say, hey, we're a great town, and you got a part-time mayor who's not there half the time? Because it is a part-time position. So, I mean, yes, we definitely need to change the ordinance and move forward with that.
Mr. Fayant?
The mayor is already a full-time job. It's a 24/7 job. I don't care where I go. Someone's always asked me a question on how can we do this, how can we do that. The pay probably needs to come up. I think I'm pretty accessible. I mean, I've been in the same house, the same business. I'm in City Hall for 4 years now. I think pretty much everybody in town knows who I am. I'm pretty accessible, and when I'm not there, I'm at the barber shop, and it's just one end of the block away. And I have them come in all the time asking questions. And it needs to be a full-time job.
Mr. Getz, would you, I'm just going. Mr. Getz, would you care to rebut?
In talking with citizens, I feel that accessibility is an issue, and that's why I want to definitely have my cell phone on constantly, so any citizen can at least get a hold of me. Am I going to have the answer that they want? No, probably not, maybe not, but I can get the answer for them and get right back to them.
Okay, our next question will be for Mr. Fayant.
What is your plan for the next 4 years in the city, and how would you accomplish it?
Well, the next 4 years, I'd like to continue what we're doing now. We've got, like I said, these new businesses coming in. We have a shovel-ready site in our industrial park. We have interest in several places out there. It's just, we hope it comes to fruition. Want to keep our police department going well, our fire department. Our fire department's been fantastic. Like to get some sidewalks to the south and to the north end of town. Just keep doing what we're doing with all that good things we've got going on and have accomplished. I just want to keep the momentum going.
Mr. Getz?
I don't know how to answer that question, simply because I feel like, yes, I would be the mayor, but no, I'm not going to be the one making that decision on where we're going to go for the next 4 years. That'll be up to the citizens. I'm gearing up for a Greater Garrett, but it's not going to be my ideal Greater Garrett. It's going to be the citizens of Garrett. So my first thing that I want to do is get the people involved more. Get a focus group, a small focus group, and then enlarge that to go out and actually see what the citizens of Garrett want out of their town. What kind of greatness can they envision?
Would you care to rebut, Mr. Fayant?
Yeah, we already did that. We, about 3 years ago, we had Revital Nation come into town, and we had 4 different groups come in, educators, elected officials, community leaders, and business leaders, and we asked them questions on what they wanted to see in our community. We went through the whole shebang. You'd like to see it? I have it right here. And I guess that's it.
All right, our next question, we'll start with Mr. Getz.
If you were preparing a marketing tool for Garrett, what 3 features would you highlight, and what would you use for the cover or the main photo?
Oh my gosh, that's an easy one. We have never, as a town, marketed our school the way we should. We have the greatest school, a little biased here, sorry you DeKalb folks, DeKalb Central and East Side. We have the greatest school in Northeast Indiana, and we don't even advertise that as a marketing tool. We don't advertise our restaurants as a marketing tool. We don't advertise the parks that we have. We do not do a good job of marketing Garrett. We've got the Fort Wayne is growing this way faster than we can even realize, and we're not prepared for that whatsoever. We're not helping in that. People don't know about us. People know about Auburn. They know they do a great job of marketing. Kudos to you guys. But Garrett does not do a great job of marketing.
Mr. Fayant?
Could you repeat the question, please?
If you were preparing a marketing tool for Garrett, what 3 features would you highlight, and what would you use for the cover or main photo?
Cover or main photo, I'm not exactly sure at this moment. Let me think on that. But as far as the highlight, the 3 things, industrial park, the location of it all, and the location, the closeness to Fort Wayne and our highways and trains. I mean, we've got transportation, plenty of transportation would be part of the marketing tool. And our parks. We have the only outdoor pool in the county right now, and we will exploit that. Have exploited that.
Mr. Getz, would you care to rebut?
Sorry about that. I forgot about the cover. Mine would be of the school, because it is the shining star in Garrett, Indiana.
All right, for our next question, we'll start with Mr. Fayant.
Okay, so my partner, I don't want her to get lost here. I'm skipping ahead because I think we kind of covered what is next on the list. So we're going to go to the next question on my list, which is, the city has several parks that attract visitors for various events. How would you go about improving them, such as the baseball parks and the city pool?
Right now, the boys' baseball, the girls' softball, they continually put down new items out there, new concession stands and stuff, but we do need to improve the bathrooms at the Fike Park. We need some new playground equipment in the East Side Park. Actually, all the parks. Some of them are getting pretty old, antiquated. What was the other part of the question?
how to go about improving the parks.
Try to bring a notice to the parks. We had we got what, 6 parks, 7 parks. We had a bicycle ride from park to park to park, and had something to do at each park this last fall, or spring, I mean, and we didn't have a lot of kids because of a bad day, but turned out a lot of people don't even know some of the parks are there. We need some wayfinding signs to let people know where the parks are at. That'd be something that we have to get done eventually. But that'd be a great way to market the parks and improve the parks.
All right. And Mr. Getz?
Unfortunately, most of the work that's being done in the parks, the new dugouts, the new concession stands, are done by the volunteers who raise their own money. The city doesn't help a whole lot with that, but we've got a tremendous group of people who are dedicated and put their own money, frankly, into helping our kids and supporting our parks. The city can do a lot better job. I mean, all we have to look is 4 miles across 69 at Reiki Park. Kendallville's got an awesome complex. We can do a lot better as far as configuring our parks and making it easier and more accessible and more friendly. I mean, our parks are okay, but we could do a lot of work to improve them and make the quality of life in Garrett a quality of place. That's going to attract a lot more people if those parks are improved.
Mr. Fayant, would you like to rebut?
We have improved the parks. We have had the roof replaced at the East Side Park. We've had the soffits and the ends, the gabled ends re-vinyled. We always repaint and work at the East Side Park stage. We took these bathhouse, sanded or ground down the concrete floor in the bathhouse, repaved or stained that or resurfaced that. New paint inside, new fixtures inside the bathhouse. We're getting ready to put on the new roof at the bathhouse this fall or this summer because it's in dire need of it. We recaulked the bottom of the pool. We pumped the pool completely out, recaulked all that. We put in a new pump at the pool house because the pump last year went bad, and now we have another one in reserve. We put lights at the pool so they could do the teen swim at night because the lights had not been working for a while. So, yeah, we put money in the parks, Larry.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone, if you have a question and would like to submit something, please raise your hand and we'll have somebody come by and get that question. Okay, for our next question, we will start with Mr. Getz.
Garrett City officials have focused on implementing incremental utility rate increases. Much of this is dependent on capital projects for the various utilities. Where would you focus the attention as far as utility upgrades and why?
I tell you what, a lot of the utility, Tanya Heffel did something that needed to be done because it had been ignored. Electric rates, utility rates have been ignored for a long, long time. And Tanya did the brave thing and raised the rates at least close to where they should have been. That was a huge increase. So part of having a local utility is very important to me. I mean, I know it's not probably the cost effective, but I tell you what we gain from having local guys and gals in those departments, especially the electric department, that is a high demand job and we can lose people constantly. So that's very important to me to keep that. When we have lights that go out, they can be at the site and have it back up and running very, very quickly, where if we go and contract all that work out, that would not be a good thing for Garrett.
Mr. Fayant?
Repeat the question, please.
Garrett City officials have focused on implementing incremental utility rate increases. Much of this is dependent on capital projects for the various utilities. Where would you focus attention as far as utility upgrades and why?
Well, we need to get probably a centrifuge in because right now we're hauling sludge at, was it 97%? So 97% of that sludge is water. So if we had a centrifuge, it would spin it down to the consistency of a potting soil and we could put it directly into the landfill. Electric rates, we've taken our electric rates. We got a new electrical supplier, Wolverine Electric. Right now, as it sets, I have this piece of paper in front of me done from a rate study, And right now we have currently the lowest residential rate in the county. And I think that's something we ought to be proud of. We can hold our electric rates for a while. We just signed a contract to, I believe, 2030 with Wolverine. Our utilities, our waters, everything's based on 3,000 gallon minimum. And I'm not sure what Auburn does, but our water is a little higher. Excuse me, our sewer is a little higher right now. And if we had the centrifuge, it would help out immensely.
Mr. Getz, would you care to rebut?
No rebut.
All right. Our next question then will start with Mr. Fayant.
What would you do as mayor, and continuing as mayor, to address neighborhood blight and unsafe and eyesore homes in the city?
Well, right now we have a new code enforcement officer. They've been going around and doing abatements. And anyhow, you give an abatement, you have, I think, 7 days to comply, and if you don't comply, then you have 14 days to pay. If you don't pay, then we put a lien against your home, and it can get up pretty pricey. I think it tops out at $300 per infraction, and it can continue on. So we put liens against the homes. All we can do is keep putting abatements out there. Your neighbors sometimes your neighbors should call and tell us that we got a problem, because sometimes we do not know. But we're working on it. And it's not only Garrett, it's all over the place. I mean, you can go from community to community and see the same thing. And bring in, probably have to get the Board of Health more involved too, because there are things that are very unhealthy in some of these homes.
Mr. Getz?
Here again, I think that's being reactive. We're going in and just penalizing them. Why can't we find out what's going on with these people? I love Tara Smurr. She's our new code enforcement officer. She is very, very good with the people. She is a rock star. And I think we can see improvement as far as maybe people wanting to at least help, but they may be out of money, they may not have jobs. What is going on? Maybe there's grants that we can help them with. There's USDA grants that'll help for remodeling. There's all kinds of resources out there that maybe these people can use. We don't want, it's not an entitlement thing. These people are hurting. We care about them. Let's help them.
Mr. Fayant, would you care to rebut?
We already have helped some. We've given some extensions on some of the homes. One home has had, 14 years of it. I think helping them out as much as we can possibly help them out. We had another home on another street that was not doing very well, and they were really behind, and we helped them out. We got people to come in and help haul things away through a veterans outfit, and they complied, and it worked out well.
Thank you. For our next question, we'll start with Mr. Getz.
Many communities in Northeast Indiana are struggling with housing availability. Do you feel Garrett has adequate housing available? And if not, how would you seek to address the issue?
I do feel like we have adequate housing right now. I think we may use a little bit of help with a lower income, but as far as affordable housing, I think Garrett is about as good as it gets. And we've got another addition. Custer's and Garrett State Bank is helping them fund another addition. It's coming in the south of town. It's going to have 128 homes. This is their second edition. They found out that those houses sold like hotcakes. So we want to keep Garrett as affordable as possible. So I really don't think affordable housing is an issue.
Mr. Fayant?
Yeah, we've got plenty of homes available, new homes going up on each side of the community. We do have some older distressed homes that people are flipping and becoming more readily accessible. We do have a lot of rental units, but we really do need to get senior housing in. We have one plot of land a guy is going to build on, and I'm hoping we're going to try to convince him to maybe consider senior housing.
And Mr. Getz, would you like to rebut?
Oh, yeah, just one more comment. The one issue that I do see also is that we have a lot of absentee landlords that are renting homes. Those homes are the ones that are in a little bit of disrepair, and I mean, it's just not a good situation when you have a person who's the landlord that doesn't live in the town because they really don't care.
All right, for our next question, we'll start with Mr. Fayant.
Okay, we've received our first question from the audience, so we're going to turn to one of those. Do you have any plans to improve the 6 parks that are in Garrett? More importantly, the programs for those parks so that they are used by our children. This is a multi-part question. Is there a plan for a park board or a standalone parks department? Any plans to connect to existing trails in the area? So there's a lot there, but if you need to have that repeated, parks, park board, trails.
Well, there currently is a Parks and Recreation Authority. In the trails, I would like to connect trails, but it would only be in the city because when you go out in the county, the commissioners have already told me they're not interested in doing a trail between the communities because they don't have the money. They have, as one guy put it, bigger fish to fry. And we would have to work on our funding for the trails because right here from fortwaynetrails.org, it says, on average, trails cost about $200 per foot or a little over $1 million per mile. So we would have to do some major fundraising. And what was the rest of the question? Did you talk about improvements in the park?
About park programs, improving programs for children.
Okay, we already have teen swims. We have dive-in movies. There's baseball in the park. There's softball in the park. Basketball courts. There's plenty of programs for the kids, I think.
Thank you. Mr. Getz?
Where do I start? The Parks and Rec Authority, I didn't realize it was called that. I'm on the board, and I just thought it was the Parks and Rec Board because we really don't have any authority. It's just basically a kind of a puppet board. We try to give ideas, but we don't have any authority as far as making something happen. We got to get approval for everything. As far as the trails, that has been my passion from the word go, and thank you for confirming my introduction that sometimes we just look at a problem and say it's too big, I'm not even going to try. So let's vote the commissioners out. I mean, there's nothing that's too hard to solve. There's money out there, there's resources. At least let's try. I'm going to give it everything I have in the parks. I disagree that there's plenty of things for the kids to do. I think our parks are some of the most underutilized assets that we have, that we could do a lot better as far as programming, and especially Eastside Park with concerts.
Mr. Fayant, would you like to rebut?
Yeah, I live right next to Eastside Park, and we've had concerts out there this summer, and ever since I've taken office, we've had concerts in the park. Not as many as we like because we just don't have the money. And like I said, I live by the park, and I see a lot of activity in the Eastside Park. A lot of activity.
For our next question, we'll start with Mr. Getz.
Each year, nearly 150 students graduate from Garrett High School, but do not stay, or they go away to school and don't come back. How would you entice them to consider Garrett as their hometown for life?
That is a great question. And it's something that's been on my heart for a long, long time, even before considering running for mayor. To get them to come back, we don't necessarily want to say, hey, you got to stay in Garrett. That's crazy. We want them to spread their wings, go explore the world, see what everything is like, see diversity. There's not a whole lot of diversity in Garrett. Get out and see what's going on. But at the same time, I need your input. Young people, I need input as far as when you imagine the perfect town to live in and raise a family, what does that look like? How can we make Garrett that town so when you're done with college and you're done doing your world traveling and exploring the world, you're going to consider coming back to Garrett, number one, because of the great school, but also because we got all this great stuff that you helped create. So that would be my solution to that.
Mr. Viant?
Repeat the question, please.
Each year, nearly 150 students graduate from Garrett High School, but most do not stay or they go away to school and don't come back. How would you entice them to consider Garrett as their hometown for life?
Well, I suppose you'd have to start with amenities, which would be the parks, the pool, the closeness of Fort Wayne, the location where we're at. And like Larry said, I suppose the school, because if you want to raise kids, you're going to be sending them to the Garrett School. And I guess you just have to make the quality of life better, and that's what we're all striving to do and working on every day.
All right, Mr. Getz, would you like to rebut?
No.
All right, okay. All right, for our next question, we're going to start with Mr. Viant.
Okay, this is a two-part question that's a little different for each candidate. For Mr. Viant, why do you desire to run for a second term as mayor? For Mr. Getz, what motivated you to run for mayor?
I want to run for a second term. For one thing, I'm having a lot of fun seeing things get accomplished, and I think we've done quite a lot in 4 years. And it's not just me, it is the team. It's a whole team effort. I'm having fun, and I just want to continue the progress we're making.
All right, Mr. Getz?
A seed was planted by my lovely wife, Tasha, just a little less than 2 years ago. We are out in the community a lot. And she said, hey, I keep hearing talk, you know, that people are recognizing that you're doing a lot of great things in Garrett and for Garrett, advocating for them. Why don't you run for mayor? And I just blew her off. Guys, stop looking at me like that, because I know you don't listen to your wives all the time either. But then a couple things happened. The last three conversations, an email and 2 phone calls, got me, really troubled me, because we had organizations trying to reach out to Garrett, and they weren't being answered, or they weren't being recognized. One was letting us know about the deadline on a grant. Another was trying to get us involved with the Main Street Alliance in DeKalb County. And another one was trying to get us involved with the Purdue assessment that just went on. And they're not able to get a hold of anybody in City Hall. This is troubling to me, so that's it. I mean, we have to change the communication and be accessible. I thought it was other people not reaching out to us. It's us sitting in a silo when people are begging for our participation.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. We'll start with Mr. Getz.
That's probably already. How would you go about getting more residents and kids involved in local decisions?
Right now we have a mayor's youth advisory council, and it's not going real well right now, because it takes a leader to help them. The whole purpose of the group was to let them know about local government, involve them with city government. Here's what's going on. That's not happening. Kids are one of our most valuable assets. And we can easily reach out to them, get them involved in all kinds of projects. The school is, oh my gosh, they could help us with so many things. The kids, remodeling, especially with a career development program. We could do all kinds of things with those kids. Then you would have a vested interest. Can you imagine a group of kids going down and remodeling one of our buildings downtown? Man, oh man, for the rest of their life they can say, hey, I helped rebuild that building. On little things like that, there's numerous opportunities to get our kids involved.
Mr. Viant?
Repeat the question one more time, please.
How would you go about getting more residents and kids involved with local decisions?
Well, right now, you have to advertise your meetings, so they know when we're having council meetings. Larry mentioned the MIAC group, the Mayor's Youth Activity Council. they are working on it, and the reason things have been a little slow is it is for them to, I've told them that I want somebody to be a leader, step forward, and make this happen, make this work. You guys is to make leaders. I've given them programs on how to run meetings. We've walked through the meetings. We've done motions. We've done just about everything a city council can do at these MIAC meetings, and they just can't seem to stay focused. But I think this year is going to be a little bit different. We've got some that are very focused, and they are working on a program, and it just takes time. And I think they're going to come out this year smelling like a rose.
Mr. Getz, would you care to rebut?
Yeah. In my opinion, the mayor's youth advisory council, the leader is the mayor. So you need to take the bull by the horns. You are the leader. It would be my job to show these kids the ropes, help them learn, give them projects. The one thing is they want to be productive. They do not want to sit looking at worksheets, listening to how meetings are supposed to go. They want to be involved in something productive and functional that they can say, hey, we did that. Very, very simple.
Right. For our next question, we'll start with Mr. Fayant.
Okay, we've received 2 audience questions on the same topic, so we'll try to combine them and let you talk about this topic in general. I'll just read what the audience wrote. How would you promote the school system? What sets us apart? What responsibility do you feel the mayor has in regard to the school, and in particular, the students?
As far as promoting the school system, I think we do that somewhat now, like our building trades program. They've just got a SEAL award, and it's to create skilled trades. We've promoted that. We put it on our website. I've been to a few of the meetings. I did miss the signing because I was at the barbershop working. What was some of the rest of the question?
Okay, now here we go. What responsibility do you feel the mayor has in regard to the school, and particularly the students? How would you promote the school system? What sets us apart?
Well, the thing I just talked about with the SEALs, that sets us apart because there's no other school that I currently know of doing that. We always talk about the school because the school is when I go to these mayor's roundtables, these mayor's things in Indianapolis, whatever, one thing that a lot of communities don't have anymore, they've lost their identity because they don't have a school, and we have our school. That's part of our identity.
Mr. Getz?
There again, we're not actually, the city's not actually promoting the school. It's a reactive thing. Hey, they won an award, let's put it on Facebook. That's not promoting the school. To promote the school, I'm going to do that right now if you don't care. We are struggling. We're the only school in Northeast Indiana, the 4-county area, that's growing. Check that out on the IDOE website. We're the only school that's trending up over the last 14 years. That's huge. Our town has only grown 70 people from 2010 to 2018, and our enrollment of in-town students is going down. We've gone from 199 transition in students, these are from students outside of our district, 4 years ago, to 123, from 199 to 223 to 244 to 276 this year from outside our district. This is 15% of our enrollment coming, so I just promoted the school. So that's what I would do.
Would you care to rebut, Mr. Fayant?
No, I don't think so, not right now.
All right. I think we have time for maybe one more question.
Okay, should the city move forward with improvements at greater expense to the taxpayers or put projects on hold until a grant or other funding is found?
So do you want me to do a read my lips moment? Be no raise tax? I can't do that because I can't see in the future like that. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm a Republican, but so raising taxes would be the last resort. Yes, we want to explore every avenue possible. If we can get grants, if we can get funding, private funding, if we can get somebody else to invest in that, oh yeah, we're going to go explore every possible route that we can. before raising taxes. Taxes will be the absolute last resort.
I would not be in favor of raising taxes either. And as far as the utilities, isn't that what you'd ask, was utilities? Repeat that question again.
Should the city move forward with improvements at greater expense to taxpayers or put projects on hold until a grant or other funding is found?
Yeah, we should move forward, but we need to look at what we have in our budget. We need to stay in budget and also look for grants. And they are out there, I know that. Sometimes you think you're going to get them, but you don't qualify for them. So you just got to keep digging around and keep trying.
Okay. Would you care to rebut, Mr. Getz? Okay. All right, we can do our closing remarks, and we're going to start with Mr. Fayant.
Thank you for your time and listening tonight. I hope some of your answers or questions have been answered or solved. Some of your questions have been answered or solved. I believe that what we've accomplished in the last term was beneficial to the growth of our city and a better quality of life. The city government is structured to bring essential elements such as utilities, roads, public safety, and a quality of life and place. We strive to do this for our citizens every day. Do I believe we have a better Garrett than we did 4 years ago? Oh, yes, I think so. I believe we will continue to move forward and keep moving our city and improving our city. And would you agree that a greater Garrett is already happening? I do believe so, and it's because of you folks. And I hope I've earned your vote come November 5th. Thank you.
Mr. Getz?
I tell you what, I'm excited. I'm excited for Garrett's future. I mean, depending on how the election goes, if I'm honored to serve as the citizen's next mayor, we're going to move the city from good to great by engaging and empowering its citizens, getting them involved. All the city's departments have all the right people in the right spots. They are all awesome at their jobs. They're rock stars, all of them. It's an incredible group of people. Imagine what they do with a leader who's visionary and will support them and empower them to make the improvements that they would like to make and what they can see, give them some freedom and help them and support them. Some people may feel that greatness will come to Garrett and it'll be achieved when we make strides in solving the drug abuse and mental health issues, or when we decrease the number of children raised in poverty. Think we'll achieve greatness when we get our downtown cleaned up and the Galo Theater opened back up, or even have first-class parks and a bike trail that connects Garrett, Auburn, and Garrett to the Puffer Belly Trail. I personally believe those things are great, but that's not greatness to me. Greatness to me is when I believe that greatness will be achieved when we all experience the synergistic power that occurs when we pool our resources, when we get out of our silos and work together, and we embrace the idea that when we do that, literally anything is possible, even a trail. Greatness is when people care for each other and work together for each other for the greater good of everyone. Not in things, not in trails, not in specific things. I'm so excited for the future of Garrett and all of DeKalb County, especially the southern part, because we are definitely moving in the right direction. We are right on the edge of greatness. Why do we want to be good when we can be great?
Thank you. Thank you both again on behalf of KPC Media and the Auburn Star. Thank you both for participating tonight.